Nevertheless, despite the extensive benefits of humility, organisations often employ narcissistic, entitled, defensive and conceited individuals, and indeed narcissistic, entitled, defensive and conceited leaders. Admittedly, this strategy is not deliberate. They don't deliberately campaign to employ a chief narcissistic moron or a senior entitled officer, but many of the individuals and leaders they employ are narcissistic or entitled. So why is narcissism so rife? Why do organisations employ many entitled or conceited individuals? Here are two of many reasons why narcissism and entitlement are rife. First, and somewhat remarkably, narcissists have been shown to secrete an odour that unconsciously attracts interviewers, a finding I will discuss later. But second, narcissists have usually developed one skill, the ability to exaggerate their capabilities. And interviewers tend to believe narcissists, and indeed most job candidates. And this tendency to believe people is called the truth bias. That is, we tend to underestimate, even in job interviews, the likelihood that people will lie or exaggerate. As an example, some of you even believed the hogwash I mentioned about the notion that narcissists secrete a special odour. Indeed, before this session, you were informed that you will receive a special offer if you rolled a heads. You might be surprised that some of you probably lied, because 80% of you apparently rolled a heads. In the future, however, for several reasons, organisations will strive to reject narcissistic or entitled individuals. The reason is that narcissistic individuals will more readily be able to utilise AI to conceal their shortcomings. To illustrate, they could use AI to develop a compelling portfolio. Therefore, these narcissistic individuals may be even more likely than in the past to secure roles they don't deserve. So employees will be compelled to invest significantly more funds to identify and then to reject narcissistic applicants. Unfortunately, since the advent of social media and AI, organisations can now measure narcissism and entitlement more efficiently than previously. Algorithms can already, to some extent, estimate narcissism and entitlement from the posts, texts and speeches of individuals. For example, as some researchers have shown, leaders who naturally refer to themselves instead of their teams or organisations when answering questions tend to be more narcissistic. So organisations can, and most likely will, measure and reject narcissistic and entitled staff. Society will seek and promote humble leaders instead. So if you're not humble, you can pursue one of two courses of action. First, you can learn to become humble, or second, you can pretend to become humble. But if you want to pretend to become humble, please write down the number 132-200, because that's the contact number for Centrelink, our social security organisation, a number you're likely to need, because too many tools have already been developed to identify people who pretend to be humble.